Alright guys, on today's video we're going to the junkyard. There is a Honda Civic there with the R18. We're gonna go, I might buy some parts off of it, we'll see what's out there, but mainly we're gonna try to get accustomed to the parts that we're gonna have to replace for the turbo build. So in this video you're gonna see me taking apart the fuel injectors, fuel pump, whatnot, giving you guys some tips and tricks on turbo build for the R18. So enjoy the video. There is some wind noise, guys. I was only recording with my phone, so anyway, check out the video. I think you guys will enjoy it. Alright guys, we're at the junkyard here. We got our 8th gen Civic. It's hard to come across these in the junkyard. We got the R18 pretty much gutted out. Huge damage on the front end. We're going to take a look at it and see what kind of parts we can get from it. We're going to look at oil pan location for the oil cap and whatnot. Alright, a few things I want to show you guys. The itty bitty throttle body right here. Very tiny. This is a coolant bypass hose. Actually, we might even take this bypass hose here because it's perfect. Again, this valve right here, I forgot what it's called right off the top of my head, but I'm just curious if this is going to cause leaking into the intake manifold. We'll probably take this apart and mess around with it. As you can see, the exhaust ports are tiny. Alright guys, and the exhaust gas recirculation valve here. Essentially, a lot of people buy block off plates for the top and the bottom here, but from my understanding, the EGR valve is closed right now. So even if it's installed and in the closed position, the gases that are coming out here are gonna get blocked off by this valve that's shut. So I don't think it's necessarily a must to do a block off plate. Maybe if you want to get rid of this thing from here, but other than that, I think you guys will be fine and won't have any issues boosting or anything. But we'll see once we build that engine and turbo it. One thing that you guys need to do is to tap your oil feed. You're gonna have to take off this sensor right here, do a T-fitting. And as far as oil drainage, I believe most people will put a fitting right here. Honestly, the higher the better. So it's either going to be somewhere right around here or right here is the most common place. Now if you guys don't want to drop the oil pan, just tap it. You know, the shavings are going to be there. Just try to drain a couple quarts through it. Otherwise, you can see that the AC compressor has actually a couple bolts right here that are actually bolted to the oil pan, so it's a lot of work to drop the oil pan. You have to take the alternator off the AC compressor here. Alright, so we just took off this little heat shield right here, and this is where we have the oil pressure sensor. It's a 22 mil. You're gonna pop off this cover right here, get that off, and again, like I said, this is where you're gonna tee off for the oil pressure here. Probably a 3 AN or 3 or 4 AN line would be best. Alright guys, so right here you got the fuel line. I already disconnected the fuel line from the fuel rail. I'm gonna try to disconnect the fuel rail now. There's two 10 mil bolts here holding it in. We're just gonna take a look at the fuel injectors. Again, I'm not sure if my fuel injectors are the ones that are going bad, but we'll have to experiment here. Alright guys, I got the fuel rail pretty much pried open here. Again, this car is crushed from all angles here, so it's kind of hard to get these parts off the way I want it to be. Alright, I just gotta unhook the fuel injector clips and we can take it out and inspect it. Fuel rail right there, boys. Let me show you a close-up. Pretty clean overall. Again, this is a returnless fuel style system. I'm not going to be taking these injectors, even though I think mine might be leaking. I'm not going to be purchasing these. I don't know the mileage of the car, but I just wanted to take it out to see what I'm working with here. Again, fuel injector ports right there. Alright, this is the fuel injector removed. This is the one that goes to the top of the fuel rail. Essentially what you have to do is pry this clip out to the left and then wiggle the fuel injector out right here. One thing to note, the fuel injector clips right here, the way they look, and the actual fuel injectors here. The clips, they're different on the RDX models. You'll have to depin this whole socket thing so it works with the RDX injectors, or you can get just an adapter harness which does the same thing. There's plenty of room here for an adapter harness, so you'll be good. Now you got two lines right here you can run your vacuum sources out of. One is the brake booster line right here that goes into the back of the intake manifold here. You can run that, or you can use your PCV vacuum line here as a vacuum source. Obviously you'll do a PCV delete and use this nipple here to get your maybe like blowout valve pressure, or if you want to do a vacuum block here, you can do that and use that for a boost gauge and whatnot. But that's the summary of it, guys. The cowl, once you remove that, you got plenty of room to mess around with, and that's essentially your R18 turbo setup build. The car is pretty bad condition, as you can see. Everything's jammed up. What I'm probably gonna do here, guys, at this point is I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, jump in the back because I actually want to take out the fuel pump here, and you can see the fuel pump actually right there. So I just want to mess around with it, get used to it, familiar with it. We might have to upgrade fuel pumps eventually. I'm not sure. The factory one supposedly is the same fuel pump as an SI, but if we're having any fuel pressure issues and whatnot, we might have to replace it with a Walbro or something. I don't know, comment down below what fuel pumps you guys recommend. I wasn't really planning to use a different fuel pump since the factory ones are doing okay, but you never know. We're making progress. For limited tools, we're making progress. Anyway, you got a smoke by any chance? Kind of feel like I want to smoke a cigarette right now. Absolute nightmare to remove this ring here. We're using a makeshift hammer and just hammering it out. Progress. What a workout. Well, there it is. There's that. Let me show you guys the gas tank. All that dirt in that gas tank right there. I don't know if it's dirt that just got in because of me. But let's take this out and show you guys what we're working with. Yeah, let's get it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, cut the video. See all those shavings in there, guys? Metallic shavings. Anyway, this is where you have your pickup tube. Check out that, zoom in on that pickup tube. Look at all those shavings there, guys. I don't know where that's from, but that's no good. The fuel pump right here, right in here. So I'm gonna take that fuel pump off. Alright, pretty simple. Just pops right out. So this is the factory fuel pump, I believe. I don't see any markings really on it aside from these numbers here, and I'm not sure if that's factory or not. We can see for sure that the filter probably has not been changed at all. Let's try to take that off. Well, there goes that. Pretty hard to remove, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's that, guys. Fuel filter. So like I said, if you guys want to upgrade, you may. Supposedly these pumps push about 250 to 300 wheel horsepower. It should be fine. But if you gotta replace it, then it doesn't seem too difficult. The new ones should be able to bolt right in, pop right in, put a new filter on it, and you should be good to go. Alright guys, well, I think that's it. I think that's it for the junkyard haul. We're gonna finish up here, and hope you guys learned the video. I hope you guys liked the video, learned something from the video. R18 turbo build is still going to continue. We're working out some errors right now with the fuel injection and tuning, but we're going to get it done. We're definitely going to get it done. Make sure you subscribe, like, everything else. Peace. Alright guys, we stumbled upon a Honda Odyssey 2008. If you can come here, actually, we were able to get the mass airflow sensor out of here, and it is actually compatible with our 8th gen Civic. So that's one thing I want to rule out. We already replaced the oxygen sensor. We're not really seeing much differences. Mass airflow sensor is next. This is the primary thing that's reading the airflow and determining the fuel air-fuel ratio, so we'll see. Last thing would be fuel injectors, which we're going to replace anyway with aftermarket bigger fuel injectors.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true.